Hey guys and girls, so here is our new computer, or I should say our new server, of course, and it's quite beautiful actually. So I don't know if you can see anything in the back right now. It's a pretty dark film, so I wanted to show you the front first, and then I'll put them together, because I didn't want to take off the glass. So it wasn't on purpose to get one with tempered glass. Oddly enough, this case was the cheapest one for the size I could find on Amazon to house the fan in there. If you can look at that, that thing is like right on the damn edge. Isn't that insane? But yeah, so that's what it looks like. We got, I forget what video card's in there, but it's an MSI one. It's a pretty decent old card. I had another one in there, but I had some issues. We actually have another card coming in. The video card in there was my own, an old one. But we got a better one that's like a 710 or something like that. And it's supposed to be a lot better power efficiency, basically. So, and it doesn't have a fan, and it won't take up as much room and things like that. So that'll be good, because this is a server. It's not going to have a monitor or anything connected to it pretty much ever, besides debugging and things like that. So, yeah, it looks pretty cool though. So I'm really happy with that. Let me go ahead and take off the front, and we'll continue from there. Okay, so I kept the little crap on there, the plastic, just to protect it a bit more. I don't need it off, so I didn't see why not. So there you go. There's the inside. I don't think I can turn on. This is the downside with this phone. I don't think I can. Let me pause it. Okay, whatever. I can't turn on the brightness on the phone. I do have a flashlight. Oh yeah, I have a mini flashlight here. Here you go. We'll do that. There we go. So there you go. There's the beautiful, crazy ass fan, and it's awesome. It works really well. It keeps it damn cool, which is the whole point, right? When you have a long load on this down the road, you really want something that keeps it cold all the time. And there's our M2 drive right there. That little puppy is the 2 terabytes, which is really nice. It's got a little heat sink kind of thing on it, which will help with it. And then if we go over here, what do we got? We got some of our wiring and cabling here. And then at the very bottom here, you got your 2-port. We got 2 gigabyte Ethernet, or not Ethernet, but well, they're for Ethernet slot there. And then there's your GPU. There's what the back looks like over there. Pretty nice. And then your PSU is on the bottom, so let me go ahead and flip this around, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I'm going to take this off here. Now this was in here quite packed in there. You don't need to really tie this stuff down in the back, the wiring on this one, just mostly for the fact that the case itself holds it in. But there you go, there's our 2 hard drives there. So those are 2, each of those are the Barracuda, Seagate Barracuda Pro drives. And they were really cheap. Like, I try to buy things when they're on sale, so they were $200 each for a 10 terabyte. So $400 for 20 terabytes. So $20 Canadian per terabyte is actually a really good deal. And there's our Corsair power supply. The fan is at the very bottom. Right now, it's probably not getting a lot of air. It's probably hardly using a lot of power either, so it's not a big deal, especially since we're not using a GPU, whatever. But when it's in its final place, it will be on a more, like a more flatter surface that doesn't have a bump in it, right? At the bottom of there, the fan is blowing underneath, and it also has a big grate underneath, so it'll actually help move that. But, yeah. And there's the back of, that's the motherboard side, but the CPU is just right on the other side of that. Just to give you an idea. Like, CPUs are pretty small, chip size, right? So it's crazy ass. Biggest CPU fan I've ever had. But like I said, for a server, I didn't want to mess around with. I wanted to do right about it. We even thought of maybe overclocking and stuff. I think at this point we're not going to bother. But one of the cool features is it's got multiple little vents around that you can use, take off and stuff. This one's an interesting one here, because this one is just magnetic. Kind of sits on there. It's almost kind of cheesy, but it's kind of interesting to begin with too. And I just thought that was kind of cool. So I guess you can pull that off over time and just dust it off or whatever, but it's pretty cool. More USB here at the front, which is always good. and lots of USB at the back too. I don't know if there's enough light, but you got USB 2, USB 3. I think it's USB 3.1 Generation 2, or sorry, Generation 1. I think the little brighter ones, the teal ones, are Generation 2, so is it 3.1 Generation 2? I don't think we're at 3.2 Generation 2. Well, maybe it is 3.2, but anyways, either one, pretty much latest one, it's either 3.1 Generation 1 and then 3.1 Generation 2, or it's 3.2 Generation 2, 1 and then Generation 2. But anyways, that's what the teal ones are, the Generation 2, which is, I think, did they say they're 10 or 20 gigabytes per second? Either way, something's ridiculous, you know. So that's pretty cool. Lots of fans. There's a couple case fans that came with it, which is great too. Keeps that circulation going. So yeah, I'm beyond happy with it. The server is working pretty decently. I did have some issues, which I'm hoping was the the video card. Sometimes when it boot up, the video card would go, but it wouldn't go. It wouldn't post, I guess, after that. It would just kind of stall out. Nothing you can see on video, things like that. So that was a little, it's like, it's discarding, it was annoying, right? But I swapped the video card. I'm hoping I'll be fine, and I hope once we get the other one, it'll be okay. Because the last thing you want to do is, it doesn't boot up sometimes. That'd be annoying. The BIOS is set to automatically boot. The BIOS is automatically set as well to boot at, it doesn't matter because the BIOS time is wrong, but it's meant to set up at, once a day, every 24 hours, basically, the BIOS will turn on the computer if it's not on, which is also good. And I also have it so when there's a power outage, it'll go back on automatically. And then the service on it, so I'm using Proxmox, but I've put a lot of effort on to making sure things are great. So with the Proxmox side of things, I've made it so that the VM, the one that we'll be using for the GTNH server, automatically boots up. When it boots up, it's going to be using a tunneling network, so it's a backup network for now. It's the only way we can because we can't forward ports, so we're going to be using a tunnel network to get you access onto the server. So we'll be connecting to a different server that will be tunneled to this server directly, and the performance is great. We have not had issues with it. But that's sort of like our sort of backup method right now that we're using, so we'll be using that. And then there's also backup tunnel, SSH and stuff, so I can access the box. And the idea is I also have a Windows VM on there that is using Chrome Remote Desktop, which is cloud-based. And the idea is no matter what happens, like if the system, as long as it has internet, even if the internet is like firewalled, Kingdom Come kind of thing, I'll still be able to access the box through that VM. And then I'll be able to perform, options like, play with the router settings, be able to play with the Proxmox itself, things like that. So I have a lot of kind of like very secure but awesome ways to basically work with the server and be able to access it in case of, an issue, right? So I think that's pretty cool. We have a backup system in place. We're using, I forget the name of it now. What was it called? It's like Restic. So we're using a Restic system. And with the Restic system, it provides us what is the term I'm looking for? So you do your main backup, and then it does like smaller backups, and not progressive. It's, either way. I can't think of the wording or the terminology right now, but the idea is the backups are really small. So, every 6 hours it'll do a backup. It's a cron job. It'll even hook into the game world itself, so it'll actually put it'll take save off, it will do a save all, then it does a backup, and then it'll turn the save back on after the backup's done. So it's very well done. I scripted it myself, make sure it works, and so that happens every 6 hours. So we have a really good backup system, basically. I even filter certain, like worlds. Basically, we're only backing up the overworld for protection and stuff like that. We're not doing Twilight, Nether, things like that. So basically, overworld's the place that we back up and we care and we protect. If you go somewhere else, so that's your choice. But that's basically how we're saying it to everyone. We're just doing the overworld. So at this point, there probably is going to be some delays. Ooh, look, I see my foot in the... Oh, God. There will be some delays on the server launch. At this point, we need to finish up some of the Stargate stuff, which that's not what we're, if Electro had, okay, Electro, we need to launch a server, Friday sometime, which is today of recording, he'd be able to move faster. That's not the issue. None of the blame is on that. It's all on 0.4 version. We are not launching till we get the 0.4 version in our hands. And even then, maybe 1 or 2 days in case, just to make sure nothing is really bad, right? Because you're going to hear some bad stuff, and we just want to make sure it's not going to be like a nuke going off. Because it makes no sense to do the 0.3 to 0.4. There's a lot of major issues, bugs, and things like that. And it just only makes sense we start with the, the latest version at that time. I also talked to the dev and Dream there, and I said, no, we don't want to be on the server list on the first version, basically. So, like, if, let's say, we end up not getting to, get 0.4 till, like, next Friday kind of thing, we won't be on that server list. Maybe the next version, if it's a small one, or maybe the next major version. I think next major version. I don't want to advertise it in the sense of being on the front there. I want to, kind of get in a little softer, a softer launch, and, make sure things are working really well kind of thing. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys this beautiful server. It works good. I'm really happy about it. The performance seems great. And we already noticed last night, like when we were teleporting in the world and stuff, there was some weird little stall issues that we were having when you went to an area with a lot of open computers and Stargate. We had like a test platform. And you didn't kind of do that weird stall where the chunks would not load at all, and then they would load. Basically, it would actually stall the server, because when you watch the server stats, it would just, do like a 2-3 second stall up to. But that wasn't happening, which is awesome. So I'm really looking forward to that. And so, yeah, basically things are going really well. Maybe the server didn't get to launch as soon as we expected originally, but it's not a really big deal. We're happy with things, and we'll do it by, see how it goes. And I think Electro, I have to put a big thanks to him. Electro gets easily distracted, which that's not a criticism, but he's kind of like me, sort of like, sometimes you just want to play. You get tired of, doing stuff and whatnot, but he's been pretty supportive on it makes sense that we need to wait a bit and make sure things are going well, because him and I both see, like, the server might be here for 2 years. I mean, if we're running this for 2 years, freaking thumbs up. That's the beauty, right? That's the whole point of this. We're planning for a very long run, so we want to do it right from the beginning, and I think that's a big important thing. So either way, I wouldn't have been able to do this without him. So anyways, guys and girls, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, all that fun stuff, and we'll see wonderful people next time. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.